I tweeted it. It's happening.
It's happening right now?
It says on the air.
We're on it.
We are on
the
it.
air.
Hi and welcome to Talkward. I'm Marty Dundix, editor-in-chief of Weekly Humorous Magazine, and this is Talkward, a fun little podcast where professionally funny people come to tell cringeworthy and awkward stories. And I'm very excited at today's guest. I have Lillian Stone. Hi, Lillian Stone.
Hi, Marty.
Lillian is a comedy writer in New York City for the first time, visiting from Springfield, Missouri.
Yes.
So welcome to New York City.
Thank you very much.
Lillian Stone, thank you for coming on Talkward.
Yeah, people here are a lot more welcoming than Missourians, it would seem.
Is that right?
It's kind of backward, right? Because people say that people in the Midwest are the nicest. That's kind of the stereotype. But man, they're mean. Are
they the kind that's like they're nice to your face, but they're mean in their hearts?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can just see the hatred kind of oozing from their pores. People don't do that here.
People in New York are nice, but they don't have time to be like comforting nice.
Right.
It's more like they'll shout nice things at you.
Someone shouted something nice at me earlier when I was walking off of the subway. They were like, "Love your hair." I don't know who said it, but it made me feel really good.
I'll take pictures of this, but Lillian Stone is here with very bright blue hair today. Mm-hmm. And is this new?
Newish, yeah.
Newish? It looks great.
Thank you. I'm self-employed. I've been freelance for like 6 months, and this is one of the perks. I can
Congratulations.
Just thank you. Yeah, it's I went freelance so I could dye my hair fun colors. Not really.
Where were you working where you couldn't change the color of your hair to this?
I worked in the nonprofit sector.
Okay.
I worked in nonprofit marketing, which was an amazing job, but doesn't lend itself really well to blue hair.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it works.
Thank
working.
you. Thank you very much. I feel like it brings out my eyes.
It does.
And my hatred-filled Midwestern pores.
So have you grew up in Missouri?
Yes. I have lived in Springfield for my whole life.
Wow.
I know. It's wild. But I'm getting ready to move to Chicago here in a couple months.
That's exciting.
I'm excited.
It's a big step.
It is definitely a big step.
That's only one state away.
Right. It's like a 7-hour drive. Not bad.
I might have done some Wikipedia research moments before you arrived on where's Missouri.
So what did you do anything Springfield specific?
It's the Jewel of the Ozarks.
The Queen City.
The Queen
you were
City.
Close.
Oh,
you were close.
Damn it.
Yeah.
The Queen City of the Ozarks. And I learned some possible... Do you know possible ways that Springfield got its name?
No, I don't think so.
One, I heard 3 things from the internet. One that was interesting was this guy, and I can't remember his last name, and he was lobbying to have the name set to Springfield because it was his hometown in Massachusetts, and he was offering people free whiskey if they signed basically this petition to say, I want Springfield as the name of this yet unnamed town.
Wait, this was happening in like the 1800s?
Yeah, this was a long time ago.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a really good fun fact.
It's a fun fact. I mean, it's on Wikipedia, so it might be true.
Right, exactly.
Because the people who police the Wikipedia... I mean, it's more thoroughly vetted than Supreme Court nominees, apparently.
Exactly.
Because that stuff gets changed. I mean, the Wikipedia gets policed by people immediately
it's
if you make
pretty
a change.
hardcore. And I know, and if you lie on Wikipedia, you are shamed forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
They will not let you back on Wikipedia.
No. Like, when I was in middle school, that was kind of the hot thing to do because the internet was pretty new.
Yeah.
And so we would always get on and make up lies about, like, Cher and other hot celebs. And we were caught immediately.
It doesn't last.
It doesn't look good.
It's interesting because there's like a paper trail on Wikipedia where if you make an edit and maybe someone sees that you made an edit, they have to check to not approve. I guess they approve it, but then you can see what's been edited. Like you can see what it used to be.
Exactly.
You know, and you can see what it used to be and used to be.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't just get erased. Like
No.
the internet's forever.
So if someone accuses you of being a Wikipedia liar, that's on you for life.
Exactly.
It's not great.
So you are a comedy writer. You're professionally a copywriter.
Well, so I technically I'm a lifestyle journalist. I do a little bit of copywriting on this side.
Lifestyle journalist.
Yes.
That sounds fantastic.
It's fun, yeah. So I do. It's I guess refrigerator journalism is a good way to describe it. So I do things. I write about things that people can apply to their daily lives, like travel and food and fashion and things
life
like
hacks.
that.
Is any life hacks?
No. I was actually just thinking about how absurd the idea of a life hack is the other day. Like, do you remember, like, 5 years ago when life hacks became a big deal and people were like, buy a soap dispenser and keep your batteries in it? And everyone was like, that's genius. Do you remember that phenomenon?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm still doing it.
I know. It's bizarre.
It's like, how do you fill up a bucket in a bathroom sink where it's too shallow? Like, oh, you use a dish. It was like a dustpan.
A dustpan to make a funnel. Yes.
Absolutely.
And I think I used that hack like pretty
Life hack.
regularly.
Life hacked.
Life hacked with Marty Dundix.
That's right.
No, I don't write about life hacks.
All right, fine.
I write about, I guess, how to make your life better by eating good food and wearing cool clothes and things like that.
Make enough money so that you don't have to use a dustpan as a funnel because your sink is so shallow because you can't fill up a bucket.
My writing is geared toward people with deep sinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the deep sinks.
It's like the deep state.
Exactly. The jewel of the Ozarks. Not the jewel. It's not the jewel.
The Queen City.
The Queen City.
The Queen City. Yeah, we did you look up, I mean, do you know what we're famous for?
No.
So Springfield's famous for a few things.
I like this now. I'm learning.
Okay, I'd love to tell you about it.
Please tell me about Springfield, Missouri.
We have the world's largest fork is one thing that's kind of our...
Fork?
Like the utensil.
Like on the side of the road? Like a roadside attraction fork?
Well, kind of. It's randomly in like a shopping center called Chesterfield Village.
Okay.
So you couldn't access it if you were like just coming to town off the highway. It's kind of hidden.
It's a hidden jewel of the Ozarks.
We also are famous for being the place... at which Wild Bill Hickok had a shootout with another outlaw, I think. And Wild Bill is buried in Springfield.
See, I mean, you live in the Wild Wild West.
Basically. The Wild Midwest.
Do they have any old like Midwestern-y type Western town type things there?
Silver
people
Dollar
dress up?
City.
So there is a place.
Oh, yes. Have you heard of Silver Dollar City?
I have not.
Let's unpack. Let's get into this.
Do people dress up?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so this is like Westworld we're talking about.
Just like Westworld, except for that people aren't robotic. Spoiler.
No sex robots.
No sex robots.
Or murder robots.
There is a saloon, but I think it's pretty G-rated for the most part. Like, there's no alcohol in the sarsaparilla. I think it's just root beer. But, yeah, it's like a Western-themed theme park. They have, like, wooden roller coasters and funnel cakes. It's pretty fun.
That sounds fun.
Honestly,
I would go.
They have this giant Christmas light display. It's a big deal.
Is this in your town?
This is like 45 minutes south of my town in Branson,
Missouri.
which is a special place for sure. Yeah.
Do you have a cowboy hat?
I used to in college. I had
Boots?
one. I have. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. You got to bring those to Chicago.
I know.
And you definitely have to bring them to New York.
They're
when
very-
you make it. When you make that next move.
To New York.
Yeah.
Do people here wear cowboy boots?
I mean, probably ironically, but I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of... Even if it's ironic, they actually want to do it.
Right, for sure.
You know, people are like, I'm
in
doing this ironically, and I'm a hipster in Williamsburg, but I truly love this.
They're very comfortable. Yeah. I'm staying in Harlem right now. My Airbnb's in Harlem, and there's a cowboy boot shop like a block from where I'm staying, which I thought was really funny.
That's interesting that you're staying way up in Harlem.
It was an accident.
Okay,
so
where did you think you were staying?
In Chelsea.
That's far.
When I booked the
From where
Airbnb,
you are.
the listing, I swear to you, it was like near Chelsea, and I was like, oh, that's a hot spot. And then I booked it, and I got the address, and I was like, wait, no, this is not what I intended.
That was the point.
Yeah, exactly. I was bamboozled.
You were.
Yeah.
Are you near the subway anyway? At least?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on like 111th, so there's a stop on 110th in Lexington that's pretty close. Do I sound like a real New Yorker when I say those things?
Kinda.
It's cool. Yeah. I'm blending right in.
You are. You would. I mean, so you are a comedy writer. You're an accomplished comedy writer. How long have you been doing comedy, and what was your first submission that got accepted, and how many submissions did it take to get to that point?
Okay.
Because you're like a big-time McSweeney's writer.
A big time.
You're big time.
That's nice. Thank you. So my first submission ever was to McSweeney's, and it did get accepted, which is weird and never happens.
Yeah.
It was called Someone Left Cameron Alone with a Salami Platter, and it was just me, like, stream of consciousness writing about what would happen if, like, a little boy loved cured meats.
Yeah.
And I just pounded it out and sent it in, and it got accepted, and I freaked out. But after that, of course, came, like, a long string of rejections. So I got my rejections one way or another.
That's good. I mean, it's nice to get the first time.
For sure. That was cool.
Beginner's luck? No.
I guess so.
Because that sounds like a really funny piece. I haven't read that, but I think My favorite type of comedy writing is the overly specific,
yes,
same. Idea.
That is what I like.
I love
do.
that too many details.
Yeah. Same here. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
But I sent that in. That was like a year and a half ago.
Oh, that's nothing.
No. Well, okay. So with lifestyle journalism, I had always been writing like.
How old are you?
Stuff. I'm 24.
You're so young.
I know. I kind of lied when I said the internet was in its infancy when I was in middle school.
That's
like
fine.
It was pretty well underway, if we're being honest. But no, from there, I realized that I love to write funny things, and so I took some satire classes with Caitlin Kunkel, who you know.
She's a dynamo.
A goddess. She's
she
amazing. And that kind of taught me some of the etiquette of it, and kind of gave me the courage to go like full time pursuing that dream.
But you had already been. I mean, you were a funny high school kid. Funny.
I guess so. Yeah.
But had you been were you bookish? Were you a reader?
I was a hardcore reader.
Okay.
I was like somewhere at the intersection of bookish and class clown. I feel like
good. I mean, you're like a smart class
I
clown
guess so.
becomes the like. I think that becomes more the satirist.
For sure. Yes, exactly.
Person who can write well.
Yeah, but I was very into theater also, so performing was a big deal for me in high school. I also had a history of like dressing up with my friends in costumes. Like I ran for student body president my junior year, and I had a friend dress up as Lil Jon, and every time we did a speech and I was like, hey, like Lil Jon, do you think I'd be a good student body president? And she'd be like, yeah. So, I guess that was my intro into professional comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to have like a sidekick with you.
Totally,
Also.
yeah. Especially when that sidekick is Lil Jon.
Have Lil Jon is always right there with the
He's a good hype man.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah.
That's great. Who were your favorite like authors when you were reading books?
Oh wow, like back when I was growing up.
Yeah, I feel like, but then also specifically, like comedy, like short comedy pieces. I discovered. I guess I'm more like a Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Like his short pieces. There was a book that they put together called Pure Drivel.
Yes.
From his I think it was like New Yorker or New York Magazine stuff that he did over like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 10 years. It was a collection. That was one of my most favorite like books that's not like a long story. They're just short little, vignettes.
I love that. No, Steve Martin was super influential for me. I was really lucky when I was growing up. My dad was really into comedy stuff. He wasn't involved in it. He just liked to consume it. So I grew up watching like Monty Python.
That's
and that
what my
was
dad was.
Really? Yeah. I was
like
very
Blues
into that.
Brothers.
For sure. Belushi, the classics.
Belushi. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I was like a huge Ghostbusters fan.
Same.
Bill Murray, Steve Martin.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
All of those guys.
Yeah, Mel Brooks is great.
Mel Brooks was a huge influence on me when I was younger. As far as books go, my mom and my grandma also loaded me down with like Roald Dahl, really, really silly stuff like that. So I feel like I've always been like destined to pursue
Did you see the episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee where like Mel Brooks will just show up where it's like him and it's Carl Reiner?
Oh my god, no, I haven't seen that one.
You should see that because he like Jerry Seinfeld shows up, he gets invited over, and it's like Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner have like dinner every night on TV trays, and they're watching like Jeopardy.
That's the thing they do, really?
Yes. And it was like they didn't plan it. They just like kind of brought the cameras in. And he's like, "Oh, Jerry!" And he like has like a napkin in his shirt collar, and they're just eating like pastrami. And
That's
it was
like my dream.
It was so funny, and he just was like rolling. He's like jokes. It was just like so natural to see someone like an old comedy guy like that, where the jokes are so natural. It's like they're breathing.
That's
and
incredible.
it's just like funny. It's amazing.
God.
I love
Admittedly, I only watched one episode of that show, and it was the one with Jim Carrey. And I
didn't see that one. Was it bad?
It was like a "Don't Meet Your Heroes" kind of thing. Yeah. I was like, oh, these guys are like pretty normal. I'm not having any of that. Like, I don't know. So.
Yes. I think it'd be a fun spinoff to do like comedians living in cars who can't
my
afford
God.
coffee. Just because like there's so many poor comics,
Right.
It's in New York City. They're all just doing mics all the time. All
Yeah.
like the ones who haven't, hit it big yet are just like, please book me.
Comedians in cars drinking rainwater is what we can call it.
Just comedians living in the back of their car, period. That's all it is.
I like that.
So you're big on the Twitter. You like the Twitter.
I love Twitter. I do.
Original spinster.
Oh my God!
Right?
Yes, that is me, as in like
That is
original
you.
gangster.
Yeah.
But you get the joke.
I do.
You know the joke.
I get it.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love Twitter. When I left my PR job, my Twitter kind of went off, like very gross.
You felt constrained when you had to go to a regular person job.
I mean, yeah. You can't tweet about pubic hair when you are working in PR. Like, You just can't.
Depends your industry. I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah. So when I went freelance, then I felt the freedom to start leaning into like really weird jokes. And people on Twitter love that stuff.
They do.
Yeah.
Like, have you met Jenny Hogan?
No, she's a favorite of mine, though.
She's so funny. She had a show last night that I missed, but it was up at UCB.
She wrote a play, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. But, I mean, she tweets so much, and it's so funny.
Yeah, she's amazing. People like Catherine Cohen, I saw her at Club Coming on Wednesday, and it was like a huge fangirl moment for me. Yeah, I love those hardcore, irreverent tweets that are also really solid observations.
So you're meeting a lot of the people that you have only communicated with on Twitter or online now on this big trip to New York City.
This big pilgrimage.
Yeah.
I
mean, so you're meeting Caitlin for the first time today?
We met yesterday.
Ugh.
Yeah.
What'd you guys do yesterday? No one called me.
No one invited you? It was a meetup thing.
What?
I can't believe you weren't invited. Oh my God.
Okay.
No, it was cool. I met a lot of my heroes last night. We all ate spicy pizza together and drank Prosecco.
That's fine. I was just at home watching The Big Bang Theory by myself.
No, you weren't. I refuse to accept that you watched that show.
I watched 5 seconds of it. I was flipping around, and I was literally watching it thinking to myself, I can't believe this is a television show that people watch.
I'm taking a script writing class right now, and the biggest disclaimer the teacher put out was like, do not spec Big Bang Theory. It's been on the show, or it's been on the air for way too long.
Way too long.
So long.
Like, I was watching it, and it was there. The explosive audience laughter that comes after these like horrible jokes.
I know.
You're just like, this is a robot. You know, these are obviously not real laughs.
It's ridiculous.
These are canned laughs that were recorded during I Love Lucy.
Right.
And they're just playing them now.
Honestly, though, as we say this, I'm so desperate for a TV writing job. If they asked me to write for that, I'd be like, no, yeah, I love your show. I'm a big fan.
The show is absolute genius.
Yeah, precisely.
It's genius. Okay, so you had spicy pizza last night at a place I was not invited to, but that is okay.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, God.
It's going to haunt me now, Lillian Stone. It's going to haunt me.
Oh,
it's
man.
fine. It's fine. So what else are you up to?
I'm doing all of the touristy stuff,
okay.
All of it. So today was like New York Public Library and Fifth Avenue and looking at places I can't afford. And
nice.
What else? Food. Mainly food, honestly.
That's a good thing here.
Yes. I went to Russ and Daughters yesterday and just gorged myself on like 6 black and white cookies.
Do you like tacos? We have a lot of taco trucks here.
Okay. What's your favorite?
It's like a green and yellow one that drives around. Like,
keep an eye out.
Keep an eye for a gigantic green and yellow taco truck. It's very good.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, and they're cheap. It's like $3 a taco.
Nice. I need to stop spending so much money on food for sure.
Do they have food trucks in Missouri?
Yes, Marty. We have food trucks in Missouri.
Do they have food in Missouri? I don't know.
We just eat the Holy Spirit. Okay. Honestly.
Yeah.
We just like inhale a big gust of Christianity, and that keeps us going.
Good. What else did I want to ask you? Oh, did you give me any authors? I started this because you're supposed to tell me authors. And
let's see. I
went off
Roald
on a tangent.
Dahl. Gosh, who else? I started reading a lot of humorous memoirs when I was younger.
Do you like comedy heroes? Who are your comedy heroes?
Oh gosh, all women. Alexandra Petrie, who writes for the Washington Post, is insane. Yeah. She's so perfect. So she's definitely a hero. Is it cliche to say Tina Fey?
No.
Like she's. I mean, I don't know. Whenever I first read Bossy Pants, that was before I knew that people could make a living doing comedy writing, and I was like, wait, this is a job. So that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
Maya Rudolph. Rachel Dratch, all of those people.
They have a movie coming out about wine tasting.
I know.
It looks great.
I'm so ready. I think that Rachel Dratch is one of the funniest people on the history of the earth.
Yeah.
And she needs more recognition. I want her to be a household name.
She's so funny.
She's incredible.
They put together that movie based on a trip. They all went on a wine tasting trip.
Can you imagine
for real
on that trip?
And then they were just
first
like,
of all,
this should just be a movie. And then they're like, okay. And then they just wrote a whole movie.
Oh,
now it's just going to be a gigantic blockbuster.
Heroes, I know. Mel Brooks is a hero. Gene Wilder is incredible. Everything that he's ever done has been so weird and perfect.
Very.
Yeah. Gilda Radner. There's a new movie coming out, which looks amazing. So I don't know, all those weirdos. Yeah, I love them.
They're fun.
They are fun. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
It did answer my question.
Okay, cool.
When you're doing your writing for the different websites, and are you sending stuff to New Yorker?
I am. I haven't cracked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You will.
Thank you.
I mean, your stuff is so great. I mean, there's
Thanks.
great stuff that's in other places, Belladonna, McSweeney's, that's much better than a lot of the New Yorker stuff. It's such a crapshoot.
It is hard.
With, you never know. I have no idea how sometimes people decide on things. Like, I get stuff from cartoonists where the New Yorker's passed on it.
Right.
And it's so much better than whatever the New Yorker runs that day. You're just like, I have no idea how they're deciding this stuff.
I don't know. I can't imagine.
I love it because I get this great stuff.
I have a piece ready for you, by the way. I need to send it in. It's about bird baths.
The piece you did with Topher?
Yeah.
So funny.
He is an icon. I am meeting him for the first time in person tomorrow.
That's awesome. I've never met him in person. He seems really funny.
I'm staying with him and his husband in Brooklyn, and it's going to be a scream.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. The New Yorker is amazing. I cannot imagine the level of pressure that they're under because they are like the gold standard of humor, and to be the editor who has to sift through all those pieces.
It's a lot. I'm sure that the amount of submissions you get a day.
I can't even imagine.
Just too much.
How many submissions do you get on an average day?
Depends on the news cycle. It depends on the day of the week. If with all this Kavanaugh stuff, I've been getting so much Kavanaugh stuff, and so much of it is funny. But I'm just like, I can't run all of this stuff. It's going to be out of date in like a week.
Right.
No one's going to care about it.
We can hope.
I know, right?
We can hope that it's almost done.
So, depends. It can be like 10 to 20 a day.
Oh, okay.
Some days it's more. Sometimes it's much less. But it totally depends.
Gotcha.
But then there's also like there's pieces that just like absolute like horrendous type. You're just like, is this person for real?
Just so
like,
bad.
Yeah, you're just like, this doesn't even count.
Do you ever get those replies? Sometimes I see Chris Monks tweeting about like the jerk folder. Do you get really jerky people who get mad when you don't accept their stuff?
I think I let them hang for such a long time that they just assume that they didn't get accepted and they lose interest and forget about me.
Oh no.
Yeah. That's the easiest way to go.
Right.
If you tell someone that they're not funny, they're not going to be very happy.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm of the mind where I'll just wait until they send me something really good and then I'll accept it and then they'll be happy.
Right.
But it's hard to tell somebody how to make something funny.
Sure.
You can tell them, I don't think this is funny, and then they'll argue with you because they obviously think it is funny because they sent it to you. I don't know.
Oh, no.
I'm bad at rejecting people when it comes
hard.
to Yeah.
I just want everyone to like me.
I know. That's why I like it when you submit things because I'm just like, obviously I'm going to take this because Lillian Stone's hilarious.
No, that's so nice.
No, but there's like a bunch of people where no matter, it's like I don't even have to worry about it. I'm just like, oh, great. I'm so glad that they sent me something. I have something to put up for today.
One of these days I'm going to send you a real stinker and then we're going to be in a weird spot.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay. I'll try my best.
That's when you're going to realize that I actually don't read anything. I just automatically just put it up.
Wow, risky.
No, I don't.
Very risky.
I read everything.
Okay.
Because I have to make fun little pieces of art for it.
Right.
That's the fun for me is getting to design a fun visual accompaniment for a piece like whatever you sent in.
You did one. I sent you one back in February, I think, where it was Steve Bannon as the groundhog for Groundhog Day, and the art that you made for that
was fun.
Was incredible. Do you do all the art yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, Steve Bannon looked great in that picture.
He looked just like a groundhog.
He looked just like a groundhog.
It's insane.
It was a massive improvement over what he normally looks like.
He's so scary looking.
He looks a lot better as a vermin than he did a human.
He reminds me of that scene of The Princess Bride with the albino. Like, if you threw just that little frock on him, he would be a dead ringer.
Like the hunt? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you tell us, what's your storytelling show in Missouri?
Yeah, it's called Chatty Cathy.
Chatty Cathy, that's right.
Yes, yeah. It's a monthly show on the second Saturday for all female identifying performers.
Okay.
Springfield is a really cool place to kind of get started in comedy, but there's not a lot of women who are doing open mics pretty regularly. There's like 3 of us.
But do people come out?
They do.
To the shows?
Okay, can I hit you with a little brag? We
Absolutely.
have sold out every single show for the past 5 months.
How many seats?
Like 70
That's
seats.
huge.
It's been great. And
wow.
It's super affirming because it's like, oh, people in my town are ready to hear like gross, weird stories from women.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's the venue like?
Well, we just switched. So we were in kind of like a comedy jazz club originally, and we are transitioning to more of like a pop-up feel right now. So our next one is at a wine bar.
Oh, cool.
Which is really cool. Yeah, it's just like very casual. We just want anybody to be able to come and enjoy these weird stories from women. So, yeah.
So is it kind of like The Moth?
Yeah, that was definitely an inspiration. It's mostly like shameful stories.
Yeah.
Like, come and tell your grossest, weirdest story.
Okay.
Just to prove that, like, you know, women are hilarious. And we have so many gross, weird stories to tell.
You do.
Yeah, me specifically.
Do you?
So many gross, weird stories.
Well, you have to tell one now.
Okay. You want me to tell a shameful story?
Sure.
All right.
Whatever you want.
I've got a couple that I could tell. Okay, I'll tell you one that has really like influenced the person that I've become, and it takes place in the 5th grade at Walt Disney Elementary, which is where I went to elementary school.
Your elementary school in Springfield, Missouri was called Walt Disney Elementary School?
Yeah, we were the Disney Dolphins, and I have to assume that Walt Disney had some connection to the school, but I don't really know what it was.
I would think so.
I don't know.
Was he born in Missouri?
I truly have no idea. I don't think so. I don't know.
Huh.
We just liked him. Missouri loves Disney.
Was the school decorated with lots of Disney
Yes.
things?
Yeah, it was.
Does it still exist today?
It does. Yeah.
Okay.
My siblings both went there. Yeah.
Walt Disney and what was the mascot?
The Disney Dolphins.
The Disney Dolphins. Okay.
Which is interesting. But, okay, so 5th grade.
5th grade.
Mrs. Rader's 5th grade class at Walt Disney Elementary School. I was super lame, as one might guess, because I'm in comedy now. I was not a cool kid.
No.
I was chubby. I was very, very into horses, very religious at the time. So I like counted down the days every year until my church camp rolled around in June. That was like the hottest week of my life. But I spent most of my free time volunteering at a horse ranch called the Branderosa.
I like it.
So think about that.
Yeah.
Just like hold that image in your mind.
Okay.
Little chubby girl. I wore those horrible Happy Bunny t-shirts. Do you remember when those were a thing?
Mm-hmm.
I was very into that, and I thought I was pretty edgy. So I didn't have a whole lot of super cool friends, but there was this one girl who kind of like took pity on me and let me hang out with her and listen to her gossip. And so one day she pulled me aside and she was like, "Lillian, guess what happened to me last night?" And I was like, "Please tell me. I'm desperate for friendship." She told me that this cool boy in our class named Junior had called her on the phone, and he had hung up immediately after because he was too nervous to talk to her. And I was like, "What? How do you know?" And she was like, "Oh, caller ID." So the proof was in the caller ID.
Yeah.
And I was really excited about this news because I wanted to leverage myself to popularity. And I figured the only way to do that was through blackmail, obviously. Because
so sinister.
What's cooler than blackmail in the 5th grade, obviously? So yeah, I was a sinister little kid. I don't know. So I devised a plan to use this information about Junior, the coolest kid in my class. And I realized that if I was going to propel myself into popularity, I wanted people to know that I knew a ton about horses also.
Yeah.
Those were like the things that I wanted to be known for, blackmail and horses. So I went home to my parents' giant Dell Inspiron PC in the kitchen, and I wrote a 3-page test about horses. It had like multiple choice and, essay questions and just ridiculous questions that I pulled from like a Nova encyclopedia called Horse Facts. I wrote this test and I brought it to school the next day for Junior. And the idea was that I was going to present him with this test. And if he failed the test, I was going to tell everyone that he was too afraid to talk to girls on the phone. So I waited until recess. I presented him with the test. I was like, "Junior, I've got a test for you." He was like, "Who are you?" And I think he didn't know who I was because I spent most of my time hiding behind a big Harry Potter book because I wasn't allowed to read it at home. My parents were afraid of witchcraft because it's Missouri. So I introduced myself and I was like, "I know that you are too afraid to talk to girls on the phone, and that's humiliating for you." So I presented him with this 3-page horse test, no study guide. There's no way that he could know any of these things. Mm-hmm. And I waited for him to take the test and just like humiliate himself. And instead he threw the test in the trash and went out to recess. And I was so stunned that I never even used the information that I had. And I pretty much just withered into oblivion until, fast forward to now when I am 24 and writing jokes about pubic hair for $10 a pop in Springfield, Missouri. So honestly, I came out on top.
You did?
Yeah.
I love that you were scheming.
Oh, I know.
You had a whole plan.
I had a whole plan. And for some reason in my 5th grade brain, I was like, you know what the popular kids are going to love? Me blackmailing this cool dude with a 3-page exam about horses.
Yeah.
It didn't work, but it's fine.
Did not work.
It's fine. They're all like realtors now, I think. So whatever. I have blue hair. It's fine.
Well, you're the cool one now.
I guess so. Yeah. I have multiple followers on Twitter. So
you do.
Take that, Junior.
Very popular. Does it seem like a lot of the Missouri kids who were local stayed in Missouri?
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. If you grow up in Springfield and you stay long enough, it's kind of hard to leave.
Yeah.
It's a pretty, it's a super affordable place to live. It's pretty easy to like live comfortably there. So a lot of people get sucked into that. But not me.
You're breaking out.
I'm breaking out. I'm ready to live with cockroaches for a few years.
Oh, yeah.
Blaze my trail.
Someone who's so as crafty as you were in elementary school will do well in Chicago and New York.
Conniving.
You got to be conniving. You got to have
sure.
a plan. You got to be scheming if you're going to break out and come to the city.
It's a dog-eat-dog world.
It definitely is.
Horse-eat-horse, I guess.
Yeah.
Imagine a horse eating another horse.
I think that's cannibalism.
Happy Friday.
Horsebalism. Mm-hmm. Is that a word? What's the scientific word for horses?
Equine.
Equinism. Equinism.
It sounds like a real word, kind
right?
of. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I like it.
So, what do you got cooking for writing that right now? Like, what are you working on?
Cooking. I'm working on a Halloween piece that I need to get finished up in the next couple days.
Oh, timely stuff that expires so quickly.
I know. Usually, I'm really into weird evergreen stuff.
I have so many Halloween pieces right now.
Do you have a lot that are already in the hopper? Maybe I should divert my focus.
But if you send it to me, I'll throw those other ones away.
Right. That's excellent. That's good to know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm working on some Halloween stuff. I'm working on a sketch show in Springfield, so I'm writing some sketches for that right now. Trying my hand at writing a spec. Although someone told me yesterday that specs aren't a thing anymore, and you just need to have your original pilot. So that's a bummer.
That's how I've. For the parent company, Weekly Humorist, is Humorist Media, and we do some TV development stuff. Mm-hmm. We've actually had projects where we've been given writers, and the way to gauge your writer is to see their pilot script, not what they would write for The Big Bang Theory.
Exactly.
But
don't spec it.
Their own thing. And that's how you can tell if they're funny or not. Because, I mean, I know what The Big Bang Theory is. I don't want to see if you can write a Big Bang Theory. I want to see if you can write the other project that I'm working on.
Right, yeah. So I guess I got to write a pilot now.
You do.
You got to.
Or just like a short, it can be like 20 pages.
Yeah, I do have a feature script. Right. I applied to film school last year, and I wrote a feature, and we're working on getting it produced, but I don't know. That process is kind of wild.
What's your movie about?
Okay, so let's get into this.
Set the stage.
A couple hours south of Chicago is a town called Casey, Illinois. This is a real place.
Okay.
And they're known for having like some of the world's largest roadside attractions, like Springfield's Fork.
Like the Fork,
but these are wild. There's like wooden shoes and a wind chime, and the biggest thing is a rocking chair. So the premise of the movie is, what if there was a neighboring town that was jealous of those tourism dollars, and they built a rocking chair that was like an inch larger than the one in Casey. Mm-hmm. So it's just this battle between two little podunk towns.
And then the other town would make theirs 2 inches bigger until we have this crazy rocking chair.
Just an absurdly, unsustainably large rocking chair.
That'd be great.
Yeah, so that's what the script's about.
You need to write that up.
I have written it.
It's done?
It's done, yeah.
How long is it?
It's like 90 pages. It's a full 90 pages.
Can I read it?
You wanna?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll email it to you.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, I would love to have you read it.
I'll print it out, and I'll put the little things, the clasps on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love those.
Do it.
I feel like a real script.
I know, it's written in Courier New and everything.
That means it's real. Mm-hmm. Did you do it in Final Draft?
No, I did it in this thing called Slugline, which is like a free version of Final Draft.
Oh.
So, yeah, there might be some formatting issues. Don't judge me.
Slugline. I'll use that. I like the free versions of things.
I do too.
I'm getting away from Microsoft Office, and I'm just using like Google Docs for everything.
You don't need to
It's
use
taking
Microsoft
me a while.
Office.
I know. But you know what's annoying is you can't do like cut and paste in Google Docs.
Wait, what?
I have to do like Control C.
Right, the shortcuts.
I can't do like mouse right click.
But why would you want to do mouse right click?
Because I'm so used to it. It's like it's ingrained in my brain, and I can't. I do it every day. I'm like right click thing, and then it says, you can't do that in this. You have to do Control. I'm like, oh, and it happens every time.
The thing that
I can't learn. I'm so old. I can't learn new tricks.
No, you're not old. We can work on shortcuts after we're done here.
I can't do it.
There's the thing I miss about Word is the little paperclip guy.
Oh,
that
you missed
pops
that?
up. I do, and he's like, "Did you need help with this?" Like, I wish I had him in my real life. Did you need help figuring out which train to take uptown?
But hey, it looks like you're trying to go up to.
Exactly.
Or it's like, looks like you got scammed on Airbnb. You're in Harlem.
Correct.
What's going on?
Correct. And instead, I just have to ask like a surly MTA employee.
Do you know where you are?
No, never.
Never.
Never at any time.
That's awesome. I'm excited about your movie thing.
Thanks.
That sounds really cool.
It is cool, I guess. Yeah, it's cool. It is cool.
And you have things cooking. You're going to be writing articles. How do you pick who to send articles to? Like, do you say, this is going to go to McSweeney's. This is going to go to Belladonna.
Yeah. Well, yes. So there was a period like 6 months ago where nothing was getting accepted. It was like I was in a creative rough patch. And I realized it was because I was trying to write for outlets. I was like, oh, I'm writing a piece for the New Yorker. So I would start with, having that in mind.
Yeah.
And they weren't any fun to write and they were not turning out great.
Yeah.
So now I just have, I email myself whenever an idea comes to mind. Like, oh, what if I wrote about like a haunted house for Supreme Court justices? Or that's like, I had that on the train. And so I'll email myself.
Yeah.
And I'll write something that I think is funny
Good.
and I think is weird, and then I'll try to tailor it to.
That's a lot better of a way to do things because I don't want everything on Weekly Humorist to sound the same. That's
right.
I feel like everything on McSweeney's could be written by a guy named McSweeney's who just writes all these things.
Timothy McSweeney
So it's all written by Timothy McSweeney's. So it has a very similar voice.
Yeah.
Things have a very formulaic kind of like, and it's smart.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying it's bad.
So
it's always very smart. It's always very like it has that sort of cusp of that air of that elitist kind of like vocabulary.
Elitist? No, they took my salami piece.
But it's written so it could be an elitist person who writes about salami,
right?
But it's very well. It's smart. It's very smart,
right?
And and that's not bad, but it's consistent.
Definitely.
And I think I'm consistently inconsistent with what goes in Weekly Humorist. I think everything is consistently funny, but things can be funny in a very different voice.
Right.
And I think that's fun.
That's
so
nice,
it's like
yeah.
because I have guys from Mad Magazine who write stuff or do cartoons, and I have stuff from the New Yorker, and it all can live in one place.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's sort of it works well. Sometimes.
For sure. No, it works.
Sometimes it doesn't work.
Works.
Sometimes it works. But I mean, I don't obsess over it.
Yeah. I would say for me, my weirdo conceptual humor, I always send to McSweeney's because that tends to work for their site. My political satire, I usually send to Belladonna. They publish a lot of like really scathing pieces that are super fun.
Yeah.
Still haven't totally figured out the New Yorker situation. That's just kind of whatever makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I send to them. And then, yeah, like you said, you pretty much take anything. No, you take that. No, oh my God. We're not putting that in the podcast.
Yes, we are.
No, not anything, but
It's
you take all the
very
kinds
true.
of pieces. That is oh my God, I hate myself. I'm going back to Missouri.
It's
right
okay.
Now. No,
someone has to be at the bottom of the barrel.
you're not at the
Stone.
bottom of the barrel.
Just kidding.
You are absolutely not at the bottom of the barrel. I'm gonna down this.
I
tea
feel.
and kill myself.
I also feel like they don't have there's not enough space in the New Yorker for the amount of funny. That's why I thought Weekly Humorist could do well because there's not enough. They don't dedicate enough of the New Yorker to the funny parts.
You think they should dedicate more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the only part of the New Yorker that I read is the funny parts.
I do think
Like
that
I'll flip around the magazine looking for the cartoons.
you don't even read the food reviews. I love those.
I read some of the movies. Is it still Anthony Lane that does the movie? Or yeah.
It's the man with the beard. What is his name?
I don't know. It all depends on if the girl upstairs in my apartment building has picked up her New Yorker yet. And if she hasn't, then I get to read it.
Yes.
And then I put it
They, I think that the newer editor, Emma Allen, has done such a good job of prioritizing humor with daily shouts, because that didn't used to be a thing.
Yeah, they've definitely geared up their online presence,
which is awesome.
Of putting more funny stuff on the internet.
Yeah, it makes more room.
But it's much more fun to have the funny stuff in the paper.
I do love funny stuff. I can't believe that I just said you take anything. I'm so upset. That's not what I meant. You take any kind of piece is what I meant.
I've already forgotten it. It's fine.
Oh, God.
I have the memory of a goldfish. So
well, I'm from the Midwest, so I kick myself for comments for weeks.
Oh, not at
awful.
all.
Yeah.
What else did I want to talk about? Are you seeing any more live comedy shows when you're in town?
Yeah. Well, so I'm going to UCB tonight for Bucky.
And what's the show?
It's their Bucky show.
Was it stand-up?
It's sketch, I believe.
Sketch.
Yeah. So I'm going to that. And then tomorrow, this is so touristy, but I have tickets to see Chicago on Broadway.
That's awesome.
I'm excited. My
That is
high
exciting.
school theater nerd is super jazzed. I'm going to go do that.
So did you do acting?
I did, yeah.
What was your favorite type of play? What was your favorite character?
Oh, okay. My favorite, this is super obscure. I was really lucky to have a really experimental high school theater teacher. And so we did, I know, which is really weird, in Missouri especially. We did an all-female cast of a play called Ubu Rex, which is an interpretation of Ubu Roy, which is an absurdist play from a French playwright, I believe. So I played a character called Pa Ubu, and I wish I had a picture to show you. I had this giant round bodysuit and a big turkey leg that I carried around with me, and he was just like this foul creature who pounced around and said absurd things. You need to look up this
What
play.
was the main idea of the play?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember. It was, I guess, yeah, there was Pa and Ma Ubu, and they were just kind of making their way. There was a ship that they lived on. You need to look up the script.
This is great. It sounds like for living in Missouri, which seems like a very conservative, button-up kind of a place, you've had an opposite upbringing.
Yes, I was really, really lucky.
Which
to
is
be
great.
Exposed. Yeah.
So your family must have been very supportive of your artistic pursuits?
They were, yeah. So it's weird because I grew up in like a pretty conservative family, pretty religious family, but I was a total weirdo kid, and I made it clear that I wasn't interested in doing like, sports the traditional things. So they let me go to a high school, which was an IB school, which really like prioritized arts and culture and things like that. So that really kind of started shaping the person that I became.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where'd you go to school for college?
Drury University, which is a really, really tiny liberal arts school also in Springfield, literally across the street from my high school.
That's nice. There's no Disney College there?
No, I guess there's the Disney College program, which some friends did, but...
in Missouri there is?
No, it's in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Gotcha. That sounds like fun.
It was fun. Good times.
Do you have any more stories?
Oh man, I don't know what's podcast appropriate.
I mean, anything's podcast appropriate. Do you have something short?
I do have something short.
Give me something short.
Okay, this is going to give you a good idea of what life is like in Missouri when you're dating. So,
dating. Yeah. Very, okay, apt.
So I was like 21. This was before I met my long-term boyfriend that I'm with now. I was on a Tinder spree, like a spree.
That tends to be the way that the Tinder happens.
Yes, it was reckless, truly. So I met this guy on Tinder that I thought was so cute. We were vibing. So we went out, we had some drinks. It was great, but we didn't kiss. And that was a choice that he made. He was like, let's not kiss just yet. I was like, okay, you weirdo, like whatever. So he texted me a few days later, and he was like, do you want to go on a moonlit hike with me? And in hindsight, I shouldn't have done this because he for sure could have killed me, like, easily. But Missouri's a pretty big hiking state. Like, everybody is really outdoorsy there. So I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So I borrowed some really cute hiking boots from a friend of mine, went with this guy on this moonlit hike, and the whole time, all I could think was, like, we are going to kiss. This is going to be super romantic.
It's a huge buildup.
Huge buildup.
Yeah.
It's a very romantic setting. So we did this moonlit hike. We're talking about all kinds of things. In my head, we are vibing super well.
Yeah.
We get to this bridge that the moon is shining down on. It's feeling very intimate. I'm feeling a moment. And he looks at me and I was like, oh, he's going to kiss me. Like, his face is close to mine. This is good. And he tells me that the reason he brought me on this hike was to tell me that he can't date anyone because his relationship with God is on the rocks.
Oh, that's horrible.
We had like a mile
At that
and a
point,
half.
you should have murdered him in the mountains.
Precisely. I know, but I was wearing my cute boots and I couldn't get anything on them. So we had to continue the hike. This was like halfway through.
That was only half. Oh,
yes.
no.
So like 2 more hours of hiking in complete silence. And he kept saying, are you mad? And I was like, yes, dude, yes. I am mad.
Just gotta push him down the hill.
He could have just texted me or ghosted me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that's what it's like to date in Missouri.
That sounds terrible.
It's not great. It's not
My
great.
relationship with God is on the
I know.
rocks.
And here's the kicker.
The relationship with everybody else is going to be on the rocks.
Precisely. But it was a total lie because I saw him like 3 nights later at another bar with another girl.
Oh, he was using the God line as a way to get rid of people.
How dare he, right?
That's terrible.
I know, but it's okay. I recovered. It was it was a dodged bullet, honestly.
And you're moving to Chicago with the guy?
Yeah. We've been together for almost
Look at
3
you.
years. I know.
Big move. That's nice. You get to break out of Missouri with someone.
Exactly.
You know?
Yes. He's actually from Texas though, so Missouri was like a slight upgrade for him, I
No.
think. Yeah. Just like the further north you go.
Yeah.
It's good. It's like the Underground Railroad.
That's incredibly exciting. Well, this has been so much fun meeting you,
Thank
Lillian
you so
Stone.
much. This has been a pleasure. This was a blast.
Follow Lillian Stone at Original Spinster.
Yes, there's no E in it.
No E, so it's tricky.
Yep.
So we'll have to put that on the website. And do you have a website with all of your portfolio of writing?
Yeah, it's just lillianstone.com.
lillianstone.com. Well, thanks for being on Talkward. This was great.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Our sponsor today is Swill, the liquor store in your pocket. Go to getswill.com and use Funny5 for $5 off your first order. This has been Talkward. I'm Marty Dundix, editor-in-chief of Weekly Humorist magazine. Please check us out at weeklyhumorist.com. Sign up for our weekly e-newsletter, which I have to send out today, and download digital issues every week. You can subscribe or buy them per issue at magazine.weeklyhumorist.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Thanks for Lillian Stone.
Do we
This is
really
so much
have a
fun.
sponsor for the podcast?
Absolutely.
That's so cool. That's so cool.